Welcome to the Hello Hornets podcast, an official podcast of the Mansfield Public Schools. In this episode, we speak with Mansfield High School Assistant Principal Tim Tichacek, who as part of his job helps oversee clubs and activities at the school. He discusses the many student clubs at Mansfield High, including some long-standing clubs and ones that are new to the school. Lastly, he provides information on how students can not only join a club, but also start one of their own if there is something they are particularly passionate about. You can listen to all episodes in the podcast by visiting mansfieldschoolnews.com/podcast or by following the Mansfield Public Schools on Facebook or Twitter. Assistant Principal Tichacek, thank you so much for being here. Do you want to start by telling everyone who you are and what your role is with the district?
Sure. Thank you for having me. My name is Tim Tichacek. I am an assistant principal at Mansfield High School. This coming school year will be my 6th year in the district in this role. And for the entire 6-year period, I have been in charge of coordinating student activities and clubs here at the high school.
And about how many clubs and activities are there for schools?
Right now, we have 42 clubs and activities that are running, and that number changes, usually goes up because we have students who come up with ideas for clubs and activities that they want to run because they're excited about something, they have a passion that they'd like to share with the rest of the building. So that number is typically going up, and then sometimes we have someone that will start a smaller club, and then that person graduates.
Can you describe the range of clubs that exist?
Yeah, we have clubs with 80 or so students. We have smaller clubs with just 5 or 6 students. We have a club, for example, the Student Service Corps, whose mission is dedicated to providing students with opportunities for community service. We have a smaller club is a songwriting club, which is a club that was started by one student who was into songwriting. They found an advisor who was also into it. A smaller group that meets, but it's really specific to that one student's passion, and they found a few other students that were interested and started a club. So the range is pretty vast. There are many opportunities for students.
So you mentioned there's new clubs coming in all the time. We can talk about that in a sec, but as far as existing clubs that have been around the school for a while, is there one in particular that you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, there's a couple that I'd like to highlight. A World of Difference is a club that provides diverse groups of students with the opportunity to facilitate and sustain positive social change in our school. And it's a great opportunity. It's in partnership with the Anti-Defamation League. A great opportunity for students to get involved and make real change, start real important conversations in our school. One of the highlights of that group is that the student leaders are trained in how to facilitate the conversations. And they actually go into 9th grade history classes and facilitate conversations and work on tackling some of these issues in a classroom setting. Another club that I'm excited about and have been for a long time is our Best Buddies group. We have a very large and successful group. It was actually named Massachusetts Outstanding Chapter of the Year for the 2019-2020 school year. And it's just a great opportunity for students to connect and really provide social opportunities for our entire building.
So it seems like those types of clubs have sort of a dual role. They impact students in the classroom, but they also sort of go beyond the classroom and impact students like in their everyday lives.
Yes, it's typically the clubs that people join are things that they're really passionate about and want to continue for the rest of their lives. So they learn the skills to have a commitment, be committed to something, the social aspect of the groups, and those are skills that they can carry with them the rest of their lives.
And you mentioned there are newer clubs coming in all the time. Is there one new club that you're most excited about for this coming year?
Yeah, one club that we started last year and we're really going to ramp up this year is our esports team. This provides students with an opportunity to compete against other schools in certain games that are relatively popular amongst high school students. The game that they played last year was Rocket League. This year we're certainly looking to expand that, potentially play Rocket League. Another game that's really popular is Smash Brothers. And this club provides students with an opportunity to bring an activity that they would normally do at home to the school building in a competitive way. So you have that camaraderie, commitment to a team that is typical to a kind of a team activity. And I think it's a great opportunity for students to be motivated to come to school. So if you wake up in the morning and you're not super interested in going to school, but you know you have an esports practice or an esports competition that day, it's going to motivate you to get out of bed to get to school. And it's something that all students can be excited about. Particularly excited about this group because I can see the rest of our school population, people who aren't participating, kind of getting behind this group and rooting for them just like they would any other team in our building.
And about how many kids are in the esports club?
Last year at our interest meeting, there were about 60 students. Typically, that number goes down a little bit once the club gets up and running. We probably had about 30 to 40 participants last year.
So what do students need to know if they, A, want to join an existing club, but also if they are interested in starting a club of their own for something that they're interested in?
Yes, if students want to join an already existing club, one opportunity that students have is we hold a club fair. Usually it's the third week of September, and that fair takes place during lunch. All of the groups and clubs and activities will have student representatives at a table outside of lunch with information about the club or activity. Another option is to look at our website. We have a list of all the active clubs and activities on our website students can look for, and if there's something that they are interested in and you may or may not know whether or not there's a club, you can ask any staff member at the school. A counselor is a good person to talk to, or you can stop by my office, which is right in the main office. As far as starting a new club, so if there's something that you are particularly interested in, the best step to start a new club would be to reach out to either a counselor or me. You can send me an email or stop by my office. There is a form that you will need to fill out. There's really only a few things you need to do to start a club. The main criteria are you need people who are interested in joining the club. Usually, if it's just one person, we want you to find a few other people that are interested. It doesn't need to be a huge number of people, but in order for a club to operate, it typically needs 5 to 10 people to get it going. One of the more important aspects is having an advisor. So you will need to have somebody sign off, an adult, a teacher that is willing to supervise the club at all times. And the other piece is time and space to meet. Obviously, the club would meet after school, so you would need to kind of carve out the time that you would meet, make sure the advisor is okay with that, and make sure that you have a space to meet. And then the final thing is just a clear and sustainable mission. We want to make sure that both you and the other club members have an idea of what you want to accomplish before the club gets started. And the reason we have all of those criteria in place are to make sure that the clubs are sustainable. If it's something that you're passionate about and you think the school will benefit from, we want it to last a while and not just start for a few months or a year and kind of fizzle out. So that's why we start the process by talking with me and speaking with an advisor and making sure that the club can be successful before it even starts.
So it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities for Mansfield High School students to join clubs, to meet students that they might not otherwise engage in. So what would you say is the most important thing about having so many clubs and activities at the school, and why it's such a good thing?
I think participating in a club or after school activity at a high school is one of the more important aspects of going to high school. Long-term success is based on finding a passion, something that you're interested in, and pursuing that passion. And a lot of times, students don't quite know what their passions are, things that they're interested in, until they get to high school. Some people wait until their junior year. Me personally, that was something that happened my junior year. I found out that athletics and teaching were the two things that were going to drive me for the rest of my life, and they still do. And that's something that I learned in high school, and that's why I love working in a high school, and I think that's why high school is such a great experience for all of our students, because they have these opportunities and they can really find their passion and carve out the rest of their life at a young age.